उद्यमेन ही सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथै नाहि सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे मृगा. Worthwhile actions, meaningful life. But before we go to actions, a basic question that every human being should ask is, who am I? To introduce, I am Nikhil Mehra. I come from a very humble background, born in an average middle class Indian family, which means three important things which I learned because of my background. Low limited family income, long gestations to fulfill the very basic dreams of life, and very importantly, celebrating basic pleasures as and when they happen. These traits I am seeing with the well-to-do and affluent generations is kind of missing, but there is a background to it. Fast forward 2004, when I started my career and became the bread earner for my family. The CC trap, this is not a cubic centimeter engine, but it is what I call a consumerism on credit, a consumption on credit. First, income in the family, easy people available, easy money available, credit cards, loans, whatnot, lifestyle changes, we think it to be improvement. The brand new washing machines, the brand new fridges, the brand new TVs, particularly coming from a background where you had the scarcity and now you have a means of income. Later did I realize I spent 4 to 5 times the worth of the product which I bought at that point of time. And today, standing at 43 years of age, I am about 2 crores shorter in my bank account. That's the kind of impact your decisions can have at that point of time when you are in your early 20s if you resort to this. Fast forward, and one important trait there, by the way, lifestyle change did happen, but the bank account was moving at a snail pace, kind of quite stagnant, because most of the income was going, which was looking as a low EMI, right? 300 bucks, 200 bucks a month, running for only 3 years, kind of taking and eating away from your bank accounts, right? Fast forward, the moment of realization. I was, all my life in sales career, have been to multiple countries. As of now, I've visited 18 plus countries, catered to affluent countries like US and struggling countries like even Africa, some of the African nations like Nigeria and others. I was doing high earnings, multi-million-dollar deals, high commissions, but having a very good, great lifestyle, right? Spending a lot. But the second point was always in my mind, the risk of a job loss, the risk of what happens when there's a contingency. Money comes, money gets spent, and it's over. Earning high does not guarantee wealth. It only guarantees money in your bank account. So the equation of my life was earnings minus expenses is equal to savings. Then came the tipping point in my life. And this is where my real story begins. I changed the equation mathematically. Sitting in a Dubai airport on a permanent movement from Nigeria to Dubai, I was sitting in a coffee shop and I was just pondering that over 12 years of my career, I have earned so much. Why is it that I still have a home loan open? Why is it that I still have liabilities and loans on my head when I'm earning in hundreds and thousands of dollars? The problem was the equation. Mathematically, all the professors will agree A minus B is equal to C, and A minus C will be equal to B. But psychologically, this does wonders. My equation in life became earnings minus savings is equal to expenses. The savings later on were to become investments, but that's a different chapter. But earnings minus savings became equal to expenses. Means what? It gave me 3 key elements. 3 key elements. 1, my saving target was set. Started with 40%, 60%, 80%. There were months when I could sustain without taking a penny out of my income, right? And all was going into the savings and the bank account started growing, right? I became much more careful, second, in terms of my resource utilization. The casual attitude of buying something, using it for a few times, leaving it, and then moving on to the next thing, buying it again, using it for some time, lending it to a friend and comfortably forgetting it. All changed. If I have bought something, I'll continue with it. Became much more resourceful, much more optimizing on what things are. Most important, I started valuing my assets. Now here I'm referring to physical assets, whereas there are monetary and people assets also, and people assets are the most important assets, but again, that's a topic in itself. But I started being extremely careful about my assets that I started owning. Savings eventually replaced. Then came the moment of transformation. I was heading the telecom business for Wipro in Qatar in 2021. It was Ramadan holidays, and we generally used to come to India. And I was one of the first few victims of Delta variant of COVID. And if I can just animate this into a kid's animatic, right, or cartoon movie, it was like Lord Yamraj walking in the COVID ward, picking every single bed or two every day. I was rejected the first day, I was rejected the second day, and to my good luck, I was rejected 30 plus days in that hospital, and I saw over 30 plus deaths around my bed in the COVID ward. Followed by 30 days of concentrator, another 30 days of physiotherapy. And the outcome of that rejection is, I'm standing here today and talking to you. Every rejection has been a blessing in disguise for me. And I thank my Lord for this. Whenever you have any negatives in life, try to get another negative that negates it. Don't try to work on your weaknesses. Try to see the good part of your weaknesses and work on the strength of that. Right outside the ward, there was a tree, and there were mosquitoes, and there was a mosquito mesh. It's a very weird layman thought, but it's like this. Where there are trees, there are mosquitoes. Where there are mosquitoes, there will be dengue. Wherever there is dengue, there will be death. Wherever there is death, there will be manure. Wherever there is manure, there will be tree. It's the cycle of life. You call it cycle of life, you call it circle of life, you call it whatever. The essence of mankind lies in enhancing the circle of life and not disrupting it. But my focus is nowadays on how do I solve the enigma of my life. The enigma, which means dilemma, for me, the enigma meant executing new ideas for growth and mankind advancement. Any growth which does not have a mankind advancement with it is a fallacy. Any mankind advancement which does not lead to an ultimate growth is again a fallacy. Effectively, this became my guiding mantra, and I kind of recaptured and recapitulated and came to something which is a framework which I built, which is called spirituality and business coming together into a value adoption pyramid. That's the pyramid, ladies and gentlemen. This has already gone for its patent. It will take me a good amount of time, and my friend there keeping the time is very conscious of the time, so I will just kind of cover it in very, very brief detail. But the idea is this: who am I? As an introduction is Nikhil Mehra with all the background I gave. But who am I is a minuscule part of that circle of life who has taken enough from that circle of life but has given very few things back. And the earlier I started giving it back to that circle and the elements of the circle improve, I improve with the circle. The left part is defining the purpose. The triangle starts from left to right. The first coordinates that you see between purpose, people, and optimism is where your tools are about introspection and mindset. What is it that you want to choose? Just because you want a job, you will get any job that you like? Just because your parents push you to any subject, you will study that subject? Answer is no. What is your purpose as an individual? What connects to you? When you take a guitar in your hand, does the strings ring on their own? Or do you have to make an effort? That's the philosophy here. So you first find your purpose and then find the associated people who are equal-minded and equally aware of your purpose and bring in the right optimism for you with that kind of a circle. Please remember, ladies and gentlemen, you are an average of the 5 people that you keep in your company, what we call as the inner circle. As we move towards the righter side of the circle, it's about positive cash flow and profits. If anybody aspires here to be a business entrepreneur, please remember one thing. And I have been mentoring and advising a lot of startups, and I see this trap everywhere. What's the objective of your firm? Well, the objective of my firm is profitability. These days, entrepreneurs don't talk about sustainability anymore. It's about profitability. Quick bucks, easy money, easy spread, extensive marketing, create a bank. Well, you can create a bank, but that's growth. And if it is not with the purpose of advancing people, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be sustainable, and you will just earn a short-term money like in any gaming gamble, right? So profits come after your positive cash flow. You can even be a loss-making firm for the good first 20, 25 years of your life and become what is called Hindustan Unilever today. But if you try to be a Uber, you know what will happen to Uber in coming days. Coming back, right? The middle layer is all about optimism, operation, and optimality. Like I said, covering the whole triangle will be too much of a task, but I want to put the focus on the right pyramid, which will enhance the value of what is going on the left triangle. There are a lot of startups with excellent products. There are a lot of products for which there is an excellent demand. There are very lucrative markets available in the world. Problem is, entrepreneurs enter from here, here, or here. But the zone of success is only this middle triangle. You have to be right, you have to be relevant, and you have to be rewarding. You have to find the right product strategy to be able to create the relevant demand and pick your customers and be able to expand in the markets that are rewarding for you. There's a famous dialogue from the same movie which my earlier speaker spoke about Diwar. Or it was Amar Akbar Anthony rather, from Amitabh Bachchan. Apan ne ek mara lekin solid mara. If you start anywhere here in this zone, your chances of success are amplified by 672%. And that equation is under mathematical test and to be proven. So I can't claim that number now, but in days to come it will claim. But you start anywhere in this zone, your chances of success improve by that much percentage. That is almost like a 6 times. Because if you enter from here, or you enter from the top, the time it takes to come to the sweet spot sometimes run you out of money, out of resources. And most importantly, out of the people who start with you. Once people lose trust on you, you are over. So the R3 strategy, which I am advising now startups on, is all about centering about how do you get these. And like I mentioned about this value triangle, as you keep going on this value triangle, eventually, I will summarize it as a pose, right? We all are aware of cricket, right? Cricket is like a tradition in India, right? Or a religion in India. A few days back, there was an Australian player, Glenn Maxwell. Hamstring in the back, stomach dysfunctional, cramped legs, barely able to walk. If anybody can relate to what he did was, wickets all open, crossed legs, legs cannot move. Gave the open wickets, got into a pose where the bowler is tempted to ball to the wicket, having the confidence that he cannot move and be bowled out. And he intentionally did with the mind play, thinking he will ball here and I'll keep hitting. That costed Afghanistan potentially the World Cup. And Australia is in sight. The word there was the right pose. And it takes a lot of effort to get the right pose to be successful in life. This layer, ladies and gentlemen, is all P, which is talking about principles. This layer is all O, which is talking about efficient operations. The other layer is talking about right solutions and succession planning. Many great leaders have not created their second line. The great leaders of the nation, India has not created a second line of leaders. So succession is as important as anything. And that all leads to the ultimate evolution, which is called enigma. You start with a behavior, it becomes your habit. Once it becomes your habit, it becomes your philosophy of life. And when enigma starts driving your behavior, the spiritual value of who you are and how you want to connect to the world, it starts translating into business. The overall outcome is very different. Next few slides are details about what it takes to be there. But in a nutshell and in a summary, I would only like to say one thing. Business is for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can take only one message from this forum, from me as a speaker, it is this. Business is for the people. People are not for business. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Thank you.